Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast, a show about America's truth, unhinged, unfiltered, raw. Your host, Mike Gardner.
Our goal is to defend the integrity of the election. We'll not allow the corruption to steal such an important election, or any election for that matter. And we can't allow anybody to silence our voters.
I couldn't agree more. What the hell is going on with this country, folks? What is going on with this country? Our democracy is being ripped away. When they say your vote matters, well, let me narrate that a little bit. Let me bring it down to a level for everyone to understand. Okay? Everyone to understand. Okay? When they say your vote matters, does it matter? Or does it only matter to the person that wants the power? Okay? Because that's what we're seeing, folks. We're seeing an obsession of power. Okay? We're seeing obsession of power by this far left Democratic Party. Okay? I've never seen in my years of living on this earth so far an election that's gone past its average time, right? An election is every year, the same year, right? Every year it's around the same time. It starts roughly around, during the night, right? The polls start closing 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock p.m. Sometimes they go up to 11 o'clock p.m. And then shortly after that, we start seeing results. We start seeing results come in around 12, sometimes midnight. And then usually around like 3, sometimes between 4 and 5 a.m. That's when the election's called and we have a president-elect. Okay, and that candidate that's running for president is called. Folks, do you know what today is? Today is Friday, November 6th. Okay, this election, folks, has been going on for nearly a week. Nearly a week in some battleground states, some key states. You've had the percentage at the same percentage for nearly 48 hours, 2 days. I'm looking at Georgia. It's been stuck at between, 94% for 2 days. 94% for 2 days. What the hell are they counting? Or how long are they counting? Or what are they looking to count? That goes on for Pennsylvania. 94%. And it's funny, all the key states, the battleground states, folks, have been locked into that same percentage. That same percentage. They've been locked in the same percentage shortly right around 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning. It's just miraculously, it just locked in. Folks, what the hell are we seeing? What's going on with our democracy? Democracy. God, I'm short of words. I'm a little heated, as you can see in the show today. Folks, this like I said, I knew this was going to be an historic election. I knew it was going to be a historic election. But I never knew how much fraud is being thrown into this. How much fraud. I mean, you could clearly see the mainstream media, CBS, hell, even Fox News, crooked CNN. They're all pointing to like these liberal cities, Philadelphia, Atlanta, all these little liberal cities. The liberal cities of Georgia, which is mainly Fulton County, Cobb County, Gwinnett County. Those are all the cities that are in a little lockdown of counting. I mean, seriously. And then it goes on with what counties out in Philly. I mean, when are they going to just say, that's it? Folks, this election was won, in my opinion, and I can speak for most Americans, well, most patriotic Americans, that this election was won by one person, and that was 3 days ago, folks. 3 days ago. This election was won roughly around 5 to 6 a.m. Wednesday morning. But shortly after that, you've seen 150,000 votes come in for Michigan for Biden, another 150,000 for Biden in Wisconsin. Then you've seen another come, and then shortly the day after that, and then shortly going into Thursday, you start seeing the narrow lead coming in for Biden in Philadelphia. You've seen him coming in Atlanta, and it's funny, right? All these liberal cities coming in for Biden. And then the news anchors, they're saying the same thing. Oh, we got about another 150,000 coming in for Fulton County, another 75 to possibly 250,000 in Gwinnett County of Atlanta, and folks, these all seem like to be in Biden territory. So we can see about a 60,000 margin here, folks. This is fraud. This is fraud at its best. If you can't see that there's fraud in this election, hell, you better go underneath that rock where you came from, because there's fraud in this election. Oh boy, there's fraud in this election. Folks, with that being said, welcome to today's show. Welcome to the Patriot Angle podcast. My name is Mike. I'm the host, and we'll be right back after these short words, folks. You don't want to go anywhere. Welcome back to the Patriot Angle podcast, folks. What you're hearing is some good old patriotic music to lighten up the mood, right? Because, folks, what we are going through, folks, in this country is unprecedented. We are going through just crazy historic times. Folks, you know, I'm talking about this election. This election, folks, is probably one of the most historic elections in modern day history. Folks, this election is not only coming to be being rigged by the far left, big tech, big media outlets. They are trying to do just about everything in their power to take the American vote away from the American people. Okay? This is going on way too far. We all knew this was going to happen. I've been saying this for weeks upon months, that they were going to try some kind of crazy conspiracy to try to rip away the the vote. They were going to try to steal this election from Trump and everything else. Well, folks, let me say one damn thing, okay? And I don't apologize for my behavior. I think every patriotic American that voted for Trump, every 70 plus million of yous out there, I bet you feel like your vote does not matter. Okay? I bet you feel that you've been stripped away from your voice. Because, folks, that's what's going on. That is what's going on. They are trying to transform this country into their own, utopia of what they see it as. And if you don't believe me, folks, I'm telling you what's going to happen. If Biden gets elected in the next, I don't know when they're going to call the vote, because that's what it seems like. What's going to happen is big tech and big media is basically just going to stop this election when they feel to, because it seems like they have the power to. That's what it's boiling down to. I never, in my 38 years of living in this world, thought it would come down to an election like this. Mail-in ballots. Where the hell did someone get a concept to basically say, fill out a ballot, mail it out, and it's counted as a vote? When the hell did our system multiply like this? Folks, it's coming down to a two-party system. It's not working in this country anymore. We need to go back to an original election that our four founding fathers had. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Teddy Roosevelt. All those elections have worked tremendously and fairly. This election was designed to corrupt the far right. It was designed to split democracy in half. A two-party system right now is not working. All it's doing right now is causing conflict, chaos, and hatred amongst both sides. And I'm not going to say the far right is any better than the far left. They've both of them are wrong in many aspects. I don't know. I have no idea what, literally. I want to play a soundbite here. This coming out of Pennsylvania, believe it or not, which seems to have a lot of fraud amongst other states. But I want to play a soundbite here from a Georgia senator, basically him viewing of what's basically going on. Very unconstitutional, and rightfully so. So let's play this soundbite number 7, please.
Now in Pennsylvania, unfortunately, it's been a little bit complicated by a Pennsylvania State Supreme Court that went rogue and decided to violate the U.S. Constitution, ignore Pennsylvania law, and just rewrite the law themselves. They have no authority to do that. And they extended the period of time over which ballots can arrive beyond the deadline. That's outrageous, frankly. Now, it's really important that those ballots be segregated because it is against the law, it is unconstitutional, and, one part of this process is litigating these kinds of issues. Now, if the president has evidence of fraud, he should bring it to a court. Let's get it out in the open, let's litigate that, and let's fix it. And by the way, punish anybody who did any wrong.
Absolutely.
In this case, I think it was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that suggested that ballots that arrive too late should nevertheless be counted. No, they shouldn't.
Absolutely. I'm going to stop it there. Absolutely. This is from a Pennsylvania a Pennsylvania senator, Pat Tomey. Does anybody know who Pat Tomey? Very, very well-rounded, respected individual, and I'm glad a U.S. senator from that state of Pennsylvania stepping up and showing the American people what's going on. This is a Pennsylvania Supreme Court, folks, that basically went rogue and decided to violate the U.S. Constitution, ignored Pennsylvania law, and just rewrote the law themselves. Okay? The court suggested that the ballots that arrived too late should nevertheless be counted. No, they shouldn't. Because here's the thing, folks. If you have a voter deadline, which is also called a poll close, when that poll closes in that district or that city or that county, that's it. No more votes. No more votes. Whether they were a minute late or whatever. When it's 7 p.m., no more should be counted after 6:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't care where they're coming from. Absentee ballots, that includes too. Mail-in ballots, oh, they were postmarked for that date. But when the poll closes, it doesn't matter if they were postmarked for that date, idiots. If the poll closes at 7 p.m., if the poll closes at 7 p.m., it doesn't matter if they were postmarked for that date. If they were postmarked for that date, I can understand. Okay. But whoever's responsibility, this is what has to go on, folks. This is what has to go on. And this is what big tech and big media is not going. Because this is what I'm telling you. These two people, these two organizations are the biggest enemy of the American people. And I can tell you that. Apologize, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I'm a little heated up. I haven't had much sleep in the last 4 days. And just everything going on. This is what they're not saying. And this is what needs to be looked into these battleground states. If something is postmarked for that date, okay, yes. But whoever is responsible for delivering these ballots, whether they're absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, if they are responsible for delivering by the postmarked date and time, if that poll gets shut down at 7 p.m., no more mail-in ballots, no more absentee ballots. It doesn't matter. That's it. The poll's shut. You only count ballots that were before the poll closing time. Does anybody agree with me on this? I mean, am I the only one agreeing on this? I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers both agreeing, and I'm probably going to have some biased ones too, saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Mike. But I think I do have some type of reliance on this, or lack of better words, something on this, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the fraud, folks. These ballots just miraculously just appeared in these little states from Wednesday to Thursday. And 150,000, I said early in the show, 150,000 just overnight in Michigan and Wisconsin. Where is the investigation on that? There has to be investigation and internal affairs taken up with the damn Supreme Court, one that isn't rogue. Go to the United States Supreme Court, Mr. President, and you need to demand a recall of counts. Every count in this country, every count from every state, I don't care. Every count of every 50 state of America needs to be recounted, especially all these cities that are now being suspicious, right? They're under suspicious acts. Philadelphia, counties in Atlanta, Fulton, Gwinnett, Cobb County, all these counties and all these little cities in Georgia, Pennsylvania. I'm now seeing North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, especially cities and counties and certain suburban areas of Las Vegas. All of them. All of them have to be recounted. We should go back to a voter in-person system. I don't know who the hell designed this damn mail-in ballot system, but this is designed. It doesn't work. Whoever designed this is not only stupid, but lacks a common sense of intelligence. We'll be right back, folks, after this.
The hole for American workers. Biden voted to ship our jobs overseas. He raised our taxes and imposed costly regulations on small businesses. Now Biden wants a $4 trillion tax increase, a government takeover of healthcare, and a Green New Deal that would bury our economy. It's time for Joe Biden to stop digging. Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Guys, it's very simple here. A judge in this state issued
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Folks, what you just heard was just a representative, basically there in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if I have to correct myself. Folks, literally, I mean, you can see it. What are they doing? They're allowing just anything to come in. They're not verifying it. They're not verifying identification. You know, they're not verifying photo ID. They're not verifying social security number. They're not verifying. Folks, this is crazy. This is the craziest system I've ever seen in my entire life. Mail-in ballots. I mean, you can clearly see the fraud in there. When you hear the word mail-in ballot, how does not anybody clearly see fraud just written in the name? This was shortly, less than 24 hours ago. We're looking at states that had just a massive lead for Trump. Georgia, plus 12,771. Okay? North Carolina, plus 76,701. Pennsylvania, plus 90,566. All of a sudden, fast forward a day later, all of a sudden, more mysterious votes come in. More mysterious votes come in, and now all those massive leads of legal votes for Trump, okay, they just disappear. They just literally just disappear, and now they show Trump literally holding on by a thread of a needle by Biden. And it shows Biden now leading in Trump in Georgia, leading in Nevada, leading in North Carolina, leading in Pennsylvania, leading in Georgia. Oh, I said Georgia already. He's leading in every other state that Trump was leading in. How the hell is that possible? I don't know, folks. If you do the math, where are these extra ballots coming from? If they were supposed to be postmarked for the date of the election, right, November 3rd, if they were supposed to be postmarked for the election date, where is the extra votes coming from? It takes that long to count all these votes? Sure it does, because they're all illegal votes. They were just dumped in on a pallet. I mean, a lot of people are saying some of these ballots were just dumped in overnight. Like they came in from a freaking warehouse or something. Oh my God. Oh boy. You know, just calm down. Calm down, Mike. It's not worth acting like a lunatic. But I mean, I'm trying my best to hold my cool here. But like I said, this is probably going to be my most heated podcast episode, and I'll probably get a lot of views on it, okay? With the other episode that I've gotten a few episodes back, episode 31. If anybody came to see that episode, I've roughly got about well over 250 million views. But this episode might topic very, very well over. Okay? Folks, there is massive fraud being involved in this election in this country. Lots of fraud. But don't tell that to a person, a far leftist person, an activist, a Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Oh, no. There's no legal fraud going involved. Biden is winning by fair counts and this and that. Yeah, right. That's the only way, folks, he can win. That's the only way he can win, is by this illegal mail-in ballot fraud system. You know, President Trump warned us months and months in advance. Do not trust the mail-in ballot. There is going to be massive fraud. Well, folks, we are seeing that literally happen beneath our eyes. Beneath our eyes. President Trump has warned us for months, almost a year, well over a year for that. He knew what was going to happen with this. This system is rigged. Rigged upon rigged. I want to play another soundbite here. A very, very interesting soundbite. This is coming from Florida's general attorney, Pam. Oh, we all know Pam, right?
To let us have a meaningful view of the vote count. They have continued to count the votes.
Yeah, Pam Bondi, former Florida attorney general Pam Bondi in Philadelphia, showing outrage.
They are letting anything come in. They are not letting us look at anything at all. Nothing. So we have filed in federal court. We have just filed a motion in federal court for immediate injunctive relief to shut down the voting process until we can get a resolution where we can look at these ballots. There is a reason that they are suppressing the election results, the legal election results, because they will not let us look at the ballot. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should care about this. They're trying to suppress our voices now, and they will not do it. So we have filed in federal court for
I couldn't agree more with Pam Bondi there, former Florida Attorney General, voicing outraged in Philadelphia. This was yesterday afternoon in Philadelphia. Literally, they are not allowing people to look at the polls. They're closing it off. That is illegal, folks. That is illegal. Oh, so they can do their little illegal process right there, folks. This is crazy. Trump campaign filed massive lawsuits yesterday. Reported in New York Times, the Trump campaign filed in federal court for immediate injunctive relief. That means to stop all current counting until actual correct counting can be counted. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Soundman, for that sound clip there. You know, I mean, literally, this is crazy. And what did he do? We filed 3 lawsuits yesterday, the Trump campaign. All dismissed immediately. I mean, literally immediately. What the hell are they hiding? Folks, this is a illegal assembly going on here in this country. Literally, an illegal assembly going on in this country. I mean, I can't understand the outrage. Literally the outrage. But what can you do? What can you do? Well, you know what's going to happen, folks. What's going to happen is Sleepy Joe, if he gets in, folks, there goes your country. There goes your democracy. There goes your freedoms. There goes your liberties. And I'm not just saying this for scare tactics. That's their agenda, folks. They want to literally transform this country into a utopia of hate, violence, and control of this new Democrat Party. They have gone so unhinged, so radically left, that it is literally melting this country down in pieces. We are seeing in history, literally in the making right now, folks, we are seeing our democracy literally being stripped away. I don't know. I don't know what to come of it. I really don't. I do not know what to come of it. I mean, this is terrible. This is literally terrible of what's going on in this country. I never thought in my 38 years so far of life that I would see this. There's a loss of words. A loss of words. I have friends that live, yes, I have some friends that still live up north. God bless them for putting up with all that from this past year. So what do they have to put up with? Friends that I have up north that have to put up with this garbage, this chaos. First they put up with false impeachment hearings, false Russia collusion from the far left. Then they get then we get hit by this coronavirus pandemic, which I think now at this point has been created to bring down this presidency. Okay? Bring down his booming economy, bring down his stocks, bring down his literally low taxes, low unemployment rates. I mean, everything. I mean, this president has done so much good for this country, but yet he gets anything credit. Nobody credits this man for nothing. Nothing. He doesn't get credit for anything. But just hate and just biased remarks from far left media outlets such as CNN and others. But you know, my friends that live up north, God bless them for putting up with this. God bless them for putting up with radical left demagogues of leadership in those states, having them being locked down like peasants and slaves, destroying small business. I mean, this country is literally destroying itself within. Literally. Now, I just mentioned before, just in 24 hours, we've seen a large flip that's gone to the far left, meaning Biden. Now Biden is leading in Georgia by nearly 5,000. He's now leading in Pennsylvania by 14, almost 15,000. Folks, where the hell are these votes coming from? I don't know. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I want to say one thing, though. I saw President Trump building up what I believe was going to be almost an historic landslide victory. And then all of a sudden, every network, including Fox News, started lying to the American people. Shortly after that, shortly after the peak hours of Wednesday morning, it's just like all of a sudden, there was like an immediate flip. Like I said, some of these ballots, it's like they came from a warehouse. All Biden ballots with fake signatures on them. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. I know I'm playing a lot of sound bites here on this show, but like I said, this is going to be probably one of my most heated shows ever. Because after this, folks, I don't know what's going to happen. I do not know what's going to happen. Fred, let's play soundbite number 10, please, on the Patriot angle.
Tuesday night, watching the election returns, I've loved politics all my life, since I first voted in 1972. And I saw what I assumed was going to happen. I saw President Trump building up what I believed was going to be almost a historic landslide victory.
It was.
And then all of a sudden, every network, including Fox News, started doing what they do best. They started lying to the American public. And they took a victory from Donald Trump, and they called it a lie. They took a defeat from Joe Biden and lied and said he won. And they sent you to bed, turning off the count of the vote, so you could wake up tomorrow, the next morning like I did, and go, what happened?
Folks, what happened? What happened? What happened after early Wednesday morning? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. The plan had just came in. The plan had just came in from that witch Nancy Pelosi all this time. It was like the flip. It's like the flip. You know the people in the control room, when they flip onto a commercial, the commercial came on. That was the commercial. The commercial just flipped. Wait a minute, we got more ballots coming in, more counts coming in. That's what we had to see. That's what we had to hear. Literally, that's what we had to hear. Folks, the power of the United States as our world leader is necessary for world peace. Don't get me wrong. I want a world to be saved from the threat of the Chinese Communist Party. The Japanese people truly support Trump. That's coming in from, I can't pronounce his name, Azuma from Okinawa, Japan. Wow, that's great. Another one coming in from I'm reading them all as I go through my feed here. The most corrupted election in history from Lana from Germany. I couldn't agree with you more, Lana. Totally agree. God bless our dearly beloved, duly elected President Trump. Folks, coming from Barbara from New Jersey. I got a lot of listeners from New Jersey, a lot of listeners from the deep south here in Georgia, South Carolina, mainly the Carolinas. A lot of listeners all over the place, folks, with this show. But, folks, if you don't believe that there is a satanic New World Order being exposed in this country, folks, you are seeing it beneath your eyes. We have a president by the name of Donald John Trump and the people who stand against evil. Okay? Folks, this is not the same demigod of evil that has came into this country. We've seen this in 1984 with Ronald Reagan, and of course in 1776. They also did this with Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if you remember, this is going back years and hundreds of years. Abraham Lincoln just won by just a hair of a vote in his reelection. Are we repeating the same election as the once Abraham Lincoln? I think we are. I think we are. I think we are seeing the same election being played out, the same scenarios being played out in the Lincoln era. Okay? Very, very similar. Lincoln abolished slavery. The other side of the party was for slavery. Lincoln was opposed to it. He didn't like it. He didn't want it. We are seeing that in some way. But instead of slavery, we are seeing the minorities. We're seeing the underprivileged people, okay, whine and cry that they don't have their rights, their liberties. They don't have a voice in this country. That's what this is all about. This election, folks, is getting turned down to basically a voice of a minority, certain groups, okay, and of course other things too, okay. It's all boiling down to a 2016 revenge, okay. We've seen this taking place since Trump has taken office since 2016. It's all a revenge. It's all a revenge by the radical left of Democrats that Hillary lost, and that was a fair election, folks. A very, very fair election. We didn't have mail-in ballots. We didn't have all this crap that you see now. We didn't have a general election last almost a damn week, okay, before we got an actual result, okay? We didn't have states take forever to count ballots, okay? Where you see battleground states taking forever to count these ballots. You've seen all the other states just one after the other, real quick. But these battleground states, right? We're seeing these key states: Alaska, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, all being played out, taking their sweet ass time counting the ballots. My opinion, undo this fraud election and redo the entire damn election with voter ID and vote in person. Go back to the original system that it once was back in 2016 and years prior to that, and vote in person. This voting mail-in ballot crap is turning out to be a whole coup. It really is. It really is. Make the arrests. Arrest anybody that's counting illegally. Okay? The FBI, the Secret Service. I've been saying this for weeks upon weeks. Okay? And I'm going to say it now. The Secret Service, the FBI, the U.S. Internal Affairs, they need to get involved in this election. This election needs to go back through the courts, okay? Because not only is big tech, big media, the far left, all these outlets, they're all lying. They're all harvesting illegal votes to try to steal this election from Donald Trump. It's a revenge from 2016, folks. I can't say any more. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back after these words. All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. You know, we need to learn from the Bush and Gore era of that election. You know, when they asked for a recount early and everything else went to plan, we all seen that Bush won. There was recounts in many states. But here's my philosophy. I know everybody's getting upset and everybody's demanding recounts, but this is what needs to be done. Don't demand a recount until the 12th of November. Once November 12th hits, then ask for a recount. Let the counts get in. Okay, let the votes get in, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to see, like, because they can't do a recount unless it's unless it's between 5%, right? So let the counts get in, both Biden and Trump, okay, and then the states that need to be recounted, recount on the 12th, and then maybe you'll see some fraud there. I see a lot of fraud. I see fraud being played out basically every day since the election started, 3-4 days ago. I see a lot of fraud. I see fraud being done in a lot of different areas, mainly key states. Okay? But, I say wait till the 12th. Wait till the 12th and then do the recount. They should do the recount in Georgia, do the recount in Pennsylvania, do the recount in Nevada, okay? Also do the recount in Arizona. I see a recount should be done in both Wisconsin and Michigan, for that matter, okay? Without a doubt, all those states, recounts. Recount after recount, okay? And only count legal votes. All the illegal votes should be tossed out. Folks, this has to go on. I mean, literally, it has to go on. Like I said, I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to the democracy after this. I could totally see, what they were saying a few days ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, with Nancy Pelosi I heard a rumor that she's trying to invoke the 25th Amendment to try to have Biden impeached if he becomes president because of his age and early signs of dementia. That would be even scarier, right? Because does anybody know that? Maybe that was the whole plan. Maybe that was the plan for having Biden being elected president, okay? Create this mail-in ballot, because that's the only way Biden would win, with the mail-in ballot. We all know that. We all seen that Wednesday morning, okay? You didn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. We all knew that Trump won Wednesday morning, but it was like the switch of the light bulb that came on Wednesday morning. All of a sudden, Biden's ahead. You know, I mean, there was literally states and counties and areas that Trump was ahead 400,000 votes. How the hell does folks? I'm just as puzzled as you are, scratching your heads, thinking like, are we living in America? Is this 2020? Because it doesn't seem like that. It does not seem like we're living in America. It's like we're living in a third world hellhole. I want to read this blog here from the American Conservative website here. It's coming from the AmericanConservative.com. A very, very interesting blog here. Okay? And basically it shows that we are a divided country. Very much so divided country. I think we haven't been divided ever in our lifetimes. I mean, we've seen some history footnotes along the years to every era. We've seen it in the Lincoln presidential era. We've seen it. We've seen it in JFK, and we've seen it in the presidency of Nixon. I mean, Nixon was just. I mean, don't get me started with Nixon. We've seen it with Reagan. We've seen it with Bush. We've seen it with Obama. We've seen it with Clinton. But is this era we're living in right now, the 21st century, the most divided era in American history? You can go back all the way 100 years, folks. But I want to read this article here coming out of the AmericanConservative.com. Okay? Very interesting article. Anybody looking for good patriotic articles, head over there. They got some really good articles. Not biased like your media. Very, very good articles. And this is coming from a man by the name of Matt Flettinghammer, okay? And he's given basically his election analysis in his own terms. And I want to read this because it's very interesting, okay? It says, I honestly can't say I know any institution that is working, said Elia Eastman, 19, a survivor of the Parkland, Florida massacre, and a first-time voter who has spent much of the year in Washington protesting racism and police violence. But one thing I do know that is working is the power of the people. How much of the recent past can be undone? And how much the electorate wants it undone is a question no campaign can resolve in full. And that goes on both sides, for folks, to both right and the far left. Okay? There is a danger in any sweeping assertion about the ideas of a country that narrowly chooses to follow its first black president with the man who pushed a racist conspiracy about a president's birthplace. Okay? But in some ways, given the significance of choices, the decision of this election will be especially revealing about how America sees itself and where it expects of its leaders. Okay, and then it goes on and on and on. I'll just skip a couple here. You learn a lot about yourself and other people in this country, said Luke Hoffman, 36, standing outside the National Constitutional Center in Philadelphia in a vote mass before a recent televised forum with Mr. Biden. The smear of polarization is terrifying. There's another one. Catherine Schmuck, 51, who traveled to Lansing, Michigan to see Eric Trump speak at a gravel pit last month, said that any pro-Trump sentiment she might express on his social media was doomed to be met with taunting and hostility. Now, folks, this is just a typical liberal, okay? And there's other liberals like that will literally just try to bash the right agenda, to try to bring that thank you, car scream on that, thank you, right in play. This is just typical liberals that will just literally try to scheme or scream the right agenda into trying to bring that socialism, communism agenda into play. Folks, we are seeing this portray in this country. And I wanted to read that article because I found it very interesting that it was written by a man that had different types of views of what he's seen the election to be. Okay? And that's what's going on, folks. That's what's going on. Let's stop pretending that it's economic. Excuse me. Let me say that again. I need a glass of water before I read this because this podcast is going way over time, and I do allow. Thank you to my editors here for allowing me to go over the time here. Can I get a glass of water? Thank you. Excuse me. Let's stop pretending that it's economic anxiety, okay? The ugliness is about tribalism or tribalism, excuse me, for a lack of better words. Many of the most hotly contested states are ground zero of changes. And they're happening, folks, in America. And that ground zero of changes is happening in these states: Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Where this battle is hottest is where diversity is the greatest, folks. With that being said, folks, thank you very much for joining into today's heated, excuse me. Boy, I need to get off the airways because I'm heated myself. Heated podcasts is in our show's history. If you're looking for other shows, please like us on our Facebook page, The Patriot Angle. Also, follow us on our Spotify page, The Patriot Angle. Follow us on that. You can find every podcast episode on that platform, other platforms. Also, please support us. If you'd like to make a donation, we greatly appreciate it. You can download the Anchor app, which is our mother app, which we use our podcasts off of. Anchor. You can download it on Apple and also Google Play stores, okay? And also, like us on Facebook. With that being said, thank you for joining into today's podcast. And as always, folks, we'll see you on the next one.
You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle podcast, an Anchor platform.